Today in this video I will teach you how to raise a magical circle. Now you will see a picture on the screen with 4 points marked. I will explain what are those points. Those are the places on a circle. You will impale them with the 4 daggers. Now I will explain why those 4 places in a circle should be impaled with the 4 daggers. It is because it has strong symbolic effect, psychological effect and spiritual effect. Majority of weaker entities are afraid of iron. So by impaling 4 daggers at 4 marked points at the edges of the circle, you will essentially create a form of a barrier. In between of the daggers, you will write a corresponding name of God. The name of God depends on a tradition from which you are calling the spirits, as well as the intention of the ritual. So the name of God you will inscribe between the daggers depends on your right. But first I need to explain what are the names of God. The names of God are essentially the attributes of the Godhead. They are the attributes and energies of the Supreme Source. Different names of God are used in different traditions. For us, who are members of Judeo-Christian civilization mostly, we use Hebrew names of God. But for other cultures, they use other names of God. I personally use a lot the Arabic name of God, known as Ad-Dar, which means the one who brings harm or the one who brings judgment. It has 2 meanings. This name is pretty good if you want to control negative entities or spirits. So now, when I told you where to impale the daggers in a circle, we will talk about more nuanced details regarding sacred space. We will discuss the name of God, which corresponds to the circle dedicated in and consecrated in Mammon ritual. We will discuss the name of Adonai. Name Adonai is right now in Hebrew with you on the screen. We will explain esoteric implications of this name, and we will explain how it is utilized in the context of this circle consecration. For a long time I wandered lost within different information in the occult sphere. I tapped into different traditions and currents of the modern Western esotericism. I wanted to have results, but for me it kinda didn't work as powerfully as I intended. Results were present indeed, but they were not present to an extent I wanted them to be. It was always around 70 to 80% success rate, so majority of my spells were successful. But the manifestation and the intensity of it was never as intense as I would like to be, And so after my 5-year work with Lilith became really, really intense, one day Lilith told me a really powerful thing which will remain with me for the rest of my life, which will remain a staple of my practice for the rest of my life. She said, if you truly want to tap into the deepest mysteries of the universe, study the names of God. And I was like, Lilith, you are a demonic queen. Why would you give me advice to study the names of God specifically? And she explained to me that the names of God are not what people think they are, and that the God is not what people think it is. You see, people have that weird, I don't know where it is coming from, perception that the God is somehow anthropomorphic. They will never admit that they think God is anthropomorphic, but in reality, when you question their opinion about God, you will realize that they have really anthropomorphic perception about God. When I say anthropomorphic, I mean mentally anthropomorphic, emotionally anthropomorphic, and sometimes even physically anthropomorphic concept of God is present within the heads of many people, religious and non-religious alike. And this anthropomorphism is really a mistake to understanding of the divine names and understanding of God itself. You see, God is essentially supreme form of energy and consciousness, and the names of God are the aspects of that energy you are invoking and evoking for specific ritual. The mastery of the divine names is necessary. An understanding of the divine names is necessary for any form of spiritual work. Now I will explain why I chose the name of Adonai for this specific ritual dedicated to Mammon. So Adonai means the Lord, and in the context of the ritual, it is used threefold. First, it gives you a level of authority over the energy you are summoning, aka the energy of Mammon. Second, it increases your amount of self-control, which is necessary for your dealings with financial matters. And third, the name of Adonai as the Lord corresponds to rulership, kingship, and strength. And since you are calling Mammon mostly for money here, majority of people do that, name of Adonai pretty much even without Mammon on its own can give you the results you seek if you master the name and repeat it long enough. But in this context, the name is used and written on the circle in between the daggers in order to provide protection as well as to provide empowerment for the rite which is going on. So now, after we explained the name of Adonai, its meaning and purpose in this rite, and why it is inscribed on the edges of the circle, let's say how many times you need to inscribe it on the edges of the circle in between the daggers. 7 times in total. So inscribe it in such a way in which you essentially have written in between the daggers the name of Adonai 7 times in total in the entire circle. When we established what needs to be written on a circle and how it needs to be physically set up, now we need to establish how the circle should be consecrated. You need 1 dagger in your hand. It can be ordinary kitchen dagger, it doesn't matter. You need to sit cross-legged in a circle you set up. Imagine the black sun as the one you see on the screen. a little black sun of that appearance above your crown chakra or above your head, radiating with the black light and penetrating the edges of the circle you set up, especially the names. And you need to repeat over and over the prayer you see on the screen. I pray to the left side of Adonai to infuse this circle with his black light. And you need to repeat this prayer over and over again while visualizing the black sun penetrating the edges of the circle and tracing over the circle in the air with the dagger you hold in your hand. So let me repeat once again, because majority of people have attention span of a fish and they don't listen to things when they are said. So you need to sit cross-legged in a circle. Imagine little black sun above your head, radiating with black light and penetrating the edges of the circle, especially the names. You need to repeat the prayer you see on the screen, and you need to also trace with the dagger over the circle in the air while you are doing that. Now, the question is, if I am cross-legged, how can I trace with the dagger? So, when it comes the point that you have to trace the other side of the circle, simply turn in that direction. After you did this enough, everything I described, the circle will start to radiate with power, enormous amount of dark black light and black energy. Now, after I explained physical part of what you need to do, I will explain the philosophical part. So now I will explain why you are saying what you are saying and why you are doing what you are doing. Actually, the reason why you are imagining black light and praying to the left side of God is as follows. God created both light and darkness, angels and demons, and creation and destruction. By praying to the left side of God, you are praying to the side of God, which created the demons, which created destruction, and which created darkness. So that is the reason for the prayer, and that is the reason for the rituals I am giving you, containing the left side of the names and the black light. But I need to explain what is the black light. The black light is the light emanating from the left side of God. And it is the light which is responsible for the creation of the lower spiritual planes. And it is really dense light, really dark light, and intense energy. So, now you know why you say what you say, and we can continue. After you've finished your visualization part and tracing over with the dagger part, what you should do is you should give to the left side of Adonai an incense offering. And you should light an incense and pronounce this dedication. I offer this incense to the left side of Adonai to bless this circle with his black light. You will repeat this dedication 9 times and then simply let the incense burn and leave the circle. When you start to burn the incense, the level of dark black light and that entire left side energy will jump in a circle exponentially. And you shouldn't do anything for 3 weeks except consecrate the circle. And after 3 weeks of doing this daily, circle should be heavily fortified. And your astral senses will be heavily opened after 3 weeks of doing this. You will definitely be able to feel energy. If you don't feel energy after 3 weeks, do this circle consecration and fortification for 9 weeks. 9 weeks will definitely heavily work and operate. After you finish consecrating the circle, then you can call Mammon up. And now we'll return to the picture in the beginning of this clip. Essentially, what I discovered through my praxis is that this ritual is best performed in the hours of Saturn. So day hour of Saturn and night hour of Saturn. So, I will talk a little bit for the sake of this video about days and hours. It's best to essentially point the day and hour for a specific operation. So it's best to do these kinds of ritual in the day of Saturn, aka Saturday, and the hour of Saturn. But obviously it's not practical to perform rituals like this only on Saturday. You need, for the sake of repetition, to perform them every day. So to perform this circle consecration, do them simply in the hour of Saturn, day hour of Saturn or night hour of Saturn, every day. Now, regarding summoning of Mammon specifically, Mammon is not, in my experience, a really Saturnian being. He definitely can be Saturnian sometimes, but he's mostly moon related and Jupiter related, so he corresponds to the dark aspects of Jupiter and dark aspects of the moon. So his hours would be the day of the moon and the day of Saturn and the hour of the moon and hour of Saturn. I prefer, for whatever reason, the moon hours to Mammon, but sometimes you will be having greater results with the Jupiterian hours and Saturnian hours. So Mammon has Jupiterian correspondence, Saturnian correspondence, and lunar correspondence. In my experience, he is mostly related to the moon. And for this specific ritual, I mostly recommend Jupiterian hours and the day of Jupiter, aka Thursday, because you are calling him here for money. So I recommend using the hour of Jupiter and the day of Jupiter. But you specifically do rites related to Mammon if you cannot nail the hour and the day, because it's difficult to set it up in a specific day, in a specific hour. Then I prefer the hour of Jupiter for those operations if you want to do them daily related to Mammon. So now when you know timing, we talk about if you want to do specifically only circle consecrations for a day without a ritual to Mammon, then do circle consecrations in the hour of Saturn, day hour or night hour. But if you want to do circle consecration and after that summon Mammon, then what I suggest is do the entire operation in the hour of Jupiter. because you are working here for money specifically. But I need to elaborate that Mammon specifically as a being has heavy correspondence to the moon and heavy correspondence to Jupiter, and then Saturn would be the third planet. So that's my take on Mammon and days and hours for summoning him. And now let's continue and return to the picture from the beginning of the clip. So let's focus on the picture from the beginning a little. So you see your circle and you see 4 points for the daggers. And you see a little line in the middle of the circle. Well, that's a place where you will draw the Hebrew name of Mammon if you want to summon him. So draw the Hebrew name of Mammon exactly at the place where you see the line in the circle. This is also the place in the circle where you will leave offerings to Mammon during your ritual to him. Offering to Mammon in this ritual should be raw beef. This is the name of Mammon in Hebrew. You should inscribe at the place shown previously inside of a circle. While you are inscribing the name of Mammon in Hebrew, vibrate the name of Mammon. After you drew the name inside of a circle on a designated place, call Mammon with the following chant. Is the one you see on the screen. I call you Mammon by the power of the left side of Adonai. You repeat this chant until the energy of Mammon truly manifests with you in a circle. Then you lay the offerings upon his name, the offering of raw beef. I need to elaborate once again that this ritual should only be attempted after 3 to 9 weeks of consecration of the circle. Because 3 to 9 weeks of the consecration of the circle should essentially make your astral senses powerful enough so you're able to perceive Mammon. Yes, this is it. After you finish the ritual, simply get out of the circle and light incense to the left side of God once again. But let's talk about what kind of request you should give to Mammon. So you should simply proclaim your request in the following manner. By the power of the left side of Adonai, I call you Mammon to empower my riches and make me wealthier. And for that sake, I give you this offering of raw beef. Then you give him the offering. His presence will greatly increase in a circle after the offering is given upon his name. Now, after you give him the offering, thank the entity and get out of the circle. His energy will dissipate over time. He will leave after he absorbs the offering. After this initial ritual is performed, my advice is to call him every week, at least once a week, in the hour of Jupiter, and ask him to empower you and guide you in improvement of your wealth. Summon him according to the same methodology we described previously, but you can summon him only in a consecrated circle, because in a consecrated circle you have guarantee that imposters will not appear, because the energy of the circle will be strong enough to banish majority of the imposters. And fundamentally speaking, My best advice is this. After this initial ritual of offering raw beef, my advice is to summon him 3 times every week to empower you and guide you in the direction of making more money. But you shouldn't start summoning him before you essentially learn how to consecrate the circle properly, and you consecrate the circle 3 to 7 weeks every day in the hour of Saturn. Now, if you want me to make pact with Mammon on your behalf and guide you even more in work with Mammon, contact me through the contact in the description. But the methodology I described for the work with Mammon and the prayers and everything should work without my help. This is the basic baseline for work with Mammon. Another piece of advice I have is at the end of every ritual, offer incense to the left side of Adonai, as prescribed in this video. Talk to you soon, and thanks for watching.